Welcome to episode 51 of the Reality Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells for all notifications. I want to give a special shout out to Arnold real quick, because me and Arnold had this back and forth conversation on the DJ Storm's Posse group chat that I'm in. And Arnold kind of gave, or he laid out the feud between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Now, I'm not going to insult Arnold because Arnold is one smart individual. Arnold, if you're watching, shout out to you, bro. Arnold tweeted Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the fall of 2019. Now get this. This is what he booked. Clash of Champions, DQ finish, or Becky retains. Okay. Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell. So Arnold, you mean to tell me that you're booking Sasha versus Becky inside Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship? I guess that's so here. With Sasha Banks winning the title. It's possible. Possible. Then they have a match at Evolution 2. 30 to 60 minute Iron Woman match. If tied, must go to overtime. Sasha retains at 3 falls to 2. Depending how long. 35 minutes to 65 minutes. If they do either a 30 minute, they go 35. Or a 60 minute, they go 65 minutes. And Becky wins the title back at WrestleMania 36. I have questions about this whole booking scenario. Question number one. It is heavily rumored that Becky will go against Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship at Clash of Champions. A disqualification finish? Why would you book a DQ finish? Why would you book a fuck finish? Why would you book a fuck finish? Now, he also says Clash of Champions, DQ finish, or Becky retains the title. Becky retaining as in a submission or a pinfall. Because what if Sasha got herself disqualified and Becky retains the title? The championship doesn't change hands on a DQ. So that's one question I just got to know. Hell in a Cell. Are you booking Becky and Sasha to go Hell in a Cell? I wouldn't want to see that match. Just look at what happened between Sasha and Charlotte back in 2016 when they were flip-flopping the Raw Women's Championship as if it was fucking pancakes. I wouldn't even go down that route for Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't, but Arnold made a point on the group chat. What if Ronda doesn't come back? Now, Arnold told me a rumor that that Ronda Rousey's pregnant. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that is true or not. I don't know, but let's say, for example, Ronda has a significant other, and, well, obviously she has Savage Brown, obviously, and we find out that she's pregnant. She can't wrestle for the next, 9 months, close to a year. Because after she gives birth to either a son or a daughter, she has to recover. And she has to gain back all the weight and stuff. She has to lose all that baby weight. She has to lose all that baby fat. Stuff like that. She has to lose that. That's going to take time after that. That could possibly take up up to a year. Up to a year. Now, I wouldn't book Sasha and Becky Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't do that. Although I would have the match at the pay-per-view at Hell in a Cell, but I wouldn't book it inside Hell in a Cell. I wouldn't do that. But knowing Vince and World Wrestling Entertainment, they'll probably go down that route. Then he says Evolution 2. 30 to 60 minute Iron Woman match. If tied, must go to OT. Now, I'm hearing rumblings that they're not going to do a Evolution 2 pay-per-view for the women. They're not going to do that. I don't know why. From what I've heard, they're not even going to do it. Because by the time it's Classic Champions being done. Then I got to build towards Hell in a Cell. You don't want to have 2 pay-per-views in the same month. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have Hell in a Cell at the beginning of the month, only to book Evolution 2 with 2 weeks to build. No one's gonna care about a pay-per-view with 2 weeks of build. Just look at SummerSlam's card. SummerSlam had 3 weeks of build. They could have 4, but Raw Reunion, folks, fucked up the whole entire build towards SummerSlam. So, in Evolution 2, I don't think that's even gonna happen. And then he says Becky wins the title back at WrestleMania 36. Why? This is my other question. Why would you have Sasha walk into WrestleMania as Raw Women's Champion going up against Becky Lynch? By the time that happens already, by the time we get to Tampa for WrestleMania, we've already seen this match twice already. Classic Champions and Hell in a Cell. Now, if they do an Evolution 2 pay-per-view, we'll probably get that match there. Or not, I will book Sasha versus Trish. Instead of Alexa and Trish, I'm booking Sasha versus Trish. Sasha and Trish has more of a dream match dynamic than Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus. Now, tell me, folks, what match would you go with? Sasha and Trish or Alexa and Trish? I think I know what match sounds a whole lot better. And it's not Alexa. It's Sasha versus Trish. Now, let's say for example, Ronda doesn't come back. Now, let's say for example, Ronda's pregnant and she's not going to be able to compete for up to a year because of the fact that she has to go through the 9-month process plus the birth, and then she has to gain back to wrestling shape, which will take a long time. The only way, and Arnold said this in the group chat, and I completely agree with him. Your best feud right now on Monday Night Raw for the women's division is Sasha versus Becky. You have to play that card. That card you have to play. But this is how I'm booking this whole situation. I will have them match at Classic Champions. Have them have a DQ finish, which will bleed in to Hell in a Cell, where we have a legit winner. I would have Becky retain the title at Hell in a Cell, at the pay-per-view, not inside Hell in a Cell. Although I would find it interesting if you book Becky and Sasha inside Hell in a Cell. I would find that interesting, though. But let's see what happens. Like I said, I will have the match at Classic Champions. Have that match have a DQ, have it a fuck finish, bleed into Hell in a Cell, where Becky retains the title over Sasha. Then from there, I would build up Sasha to a point where she's unbeatable, unstoppable, to the point where she has to win the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble. And I'm going to make a quick prediction on that right now. If it's not Sasha winning it, it's 100% Charlotte to win. Now, what if they book Charlotte versus Bayley at Classic Champions and Charlotte wins back the championship? We are in Flair country at Classic Champions. You do forget about that. Classic Champions on September 15th, they are in Flair country. They're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. That is Charlotte's hometown. You think for one second Vince is going to have Charlotte lose this match against Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship, for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship? No. Charlotte there is going to win the SmackDown Women's Championship for the 9th time, the 10th time. Who gives a shit? Back to this Sasha and Becky situation. By the time we get to Classic Champions, probably Charlotte would win back the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. You have 2 possible winners if Ronda doesn't come back. like say for example, Ronda is pregnant, who would you book to win the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble? Either Bayley or Sasha. And if Sasha wins, she'll be on Raw. She'll fight against Becky for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, to the point where, hey, Becky has beaten Sasha before. Let's give Sasha a victory over Becky for the Raw Women's title. That's how I would do it. That's low key. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. Low key. So, to talk about Arnold's booking scenario, I wouldn't even have Becky win back to the title at WrestleMania 36, because the simple fact, if you have Becky win back the championship and Sasha walks into WrestleMania 36 as the Raw Women's Champion, and you have Becky win back the title, you know how that's gonna look on Becky Lynch? Unless if they have Becky win back-to-back Rumbles, she's gonna look like the female version of Roman Reigns. You thought Charlotte was the female version of Roman Reigns. Becky Lynch is gonna be that type of person. And trust me, if I'm Becky, I would not even want to be compared to Roman Reigns in any shape or form. If Becky wins back-to-back Rumbles, and they can certainly do this. If they have Becky Lynch win back-to-back Rumbles next year in Houston, you know how that's going to look for Becky going into WrestleMania? To the point where people are going to cheer for Sasha to retain the Raw Women's Championship? If Becky wins back-to-back Rumbles, it's going to be like, oh, she shoved down our throats. She won the Rumble last year. She beat Ronda last year for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania simultaneously. Why are you booking Becky to win back-to-back Rumbles only to take the championship from Sasha Banks? A person who we haven't seen in 5 months. She comes back on Raw. She turns heel. All of a sudden, it's rumored now that it's Becky versus Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship at Clash of Champions. Can I ask, what has Sasha Banks done to gain a Raw Women's Championship match at Clash of Champions? What the fuck has she done? What? Turn heel in front of a Canadian crowd? And she turned heel on Natty and Becky Lynch? That warrants her a Raw Women's Championship match? You do know why Sasha Banks is back to begin with. It's because Vince doesn't want Sasha Banks to sit out on the remaining deal of her contract so she can go to All Elite Wrestling. Don't tell me otherwise. Don't tell me no otherwise. Don't give me none of this other fucking bullshit. Sasha has been gone for 5 months because of what happened over the Women's Tag Team Championships back at WrestleMania. And then people on social media say, oh, Sasha Banks is a crybaby. Oh, Sasha Banks is a crybaby. Oh, Sasha Banks is a crybaby. Were you there backstage after she lost the fucking Women's Tag Team titles at WrestleMania? No. So do me a favor. Shut the fuck up. If you weren't there for what happened at WrestleMania, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm sick and tired of people complaining and whining and bitching and moaning about Sasha Banks. Oh, how she's overrated. Sasha Banks is better than most of those women on the fucking women's roster on both Raw and SmackDown combined. Combined. Don't give me this bullshit. Oh, and by the way, clowns, Sasha Banks is a whole lot more better in the ring than Charlotte Flair will ever be in the ring. Don't give me none of this bullshit. Don't sit there and say, oh, Chris, you're a fucking AEW mark if you think that Sasha Banks would be successful in All Elite Wrestling. Sasha Banks in AEW's women's roster, let me tell you something right now. Sasha Banks on the AEW's women's roster, forget about it. Sasha Banks is going to be the main focal point if she's on that women's division in All Elite Wrestling. She's going to be the main focal point. She's going to be the main focal point. shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and let the big boys run this fucking house. So to Arnold's booking scenario, it sounds good, but at the point you're having Becky win back the Raw Women's Championship WrestleMania, that's going to be shoved down our throats. Because, oh, Becky won back-to-back Rumbles. Oh, Becky Lynch has main evented WrestleMania back-to-back years. Oh, why is Becky Lynch winning back the Raw Women's Championship when she should have saved the championship for Ronda fucking Rousey? What makes you think Becky Lynch hasn't lost the title yet? She's waiting for Ronda Rousey. And this is my original scenario. If Ronda's not pregnant, she's going to come back as if nothing ever happened to her. She's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2020. And then we get Ronda versus Becky, the match that we should have got this year at WrestleMania. Instead of adding Charlotte to make it a triple threat match, we get the original match that we were supposed to get this year for the Raw Women's Championship. You do realize this is why Becky Lynch won the Rumble match this year. It's to give us Becky and Ronda. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, adding Charlotte to the match doesn't bring any value to it. It does. But what did that happen? What did that happen for Charlotte in the main event of WrestleMania? It was the overhyped main event in WrestleMania history. Yeah, the build was fantastic. Yeah. The build was fantastic, but look at the match, though. The match was sloppy. The match was terrible, and it was the most overhyped main event in WrestleMania history. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But if they do book an Evolution 2.0 pay-per-view, I'm booking Sasha versus Trish. Fuck Alexa Bliss versus Trish. If Alexa Bliss and Trish Stratus was to happen at this rumored Evolution pay-per-view, this rumored Evolution 2 pay-per-view, I have my NyQuil, I have my fluffy pillow, I have my fucking blanket, and I'm falling asleep. Immediately, I'm falling asleep. You want to book a great Evolution 2 pay-per-view? You book Sasha versus Trish. That's if that even happens. That's if that even happens. Now, I want to kick off the podcast here with this Becky Lynch unsure if Ronda Rousey will return to WWE. Get this, folks. Ronda Rousey could very well be making a return to the company sooner or later. That would probably make the stockholders happy, but Becky Lynch isn't too sure. While speaking to Fightful, Lynch was asked about Ronda Rousey coming back for another match. The man isn't sure if Rousey would ever come back, but she'll be ready for the baddest woman on the planet if she ever does. This is what Lynch said to Fightful and Shoro Sapp. I don't know, and I quote, I don't know if we will. I'll be here holding the company up if she does. We'll still have a one-on-one match to have. I'll be holding this championship until someone presses it out of my cold, dead hands. So if she ever wants to come at me, Ronnie, I'm here waiting, you little weirdo. End quote. Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey never got their singles match, which is something that fans were really wanted to see. We could have had this at WrestleMania, but you wanted to add Charlotte Flair into this. You can never say never, because as long as the man is able to fight, know that she begins to take a Ronda whenever they can, make it happen. The biggest question is what Ronda Rousey wants to do, because she's the one who left World Wrestling Entertainment for an impregnation vacation, which turned into shooting a series for Fox. Like I said, if Ronda, and like I said, Arnold told me that there's a slight possibility that Ronda is pregnant. How does he know? I don't know. There's rumblings out there digging that Ronda's pregnant and shit. I don't believe that until there's a legit story coming out saying that Ronda's pregnant. If that's the case, you book Sasha versus Becky with Becky at WrestleMania as the Raw Women's Champion. going up against Sasha Banks, and then Sasha beats Becky for the Raw Women's title. That's it. That's it. We could have had this Ronda Becky match at WrestleMania, but they wanted to add Charlotte into it. Yeah, sure, it adds more value to the matchup, but at the same time, look how that match went. It went nowhere. The match never got to its second gear. It never did. It never did. So that's my story there. I'm just fucking exhausted here. This is episode 51 of the Reality Podcast here on YouTube.com. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel on this Monday, August 19th, 2019. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys are enjoying the content so far on the channel, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. What are your predictions for the King of the Ring tournament? I got Drew McIntyre winning it. Unless they fucking do this whole fucking fuck up with KO, they probably have Shane win the entire thing. So there you go right there. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. Raw review live on the channel right now. Sasha Banks has finally turned heel. Thank God, finally. Link to Raw review will be in the annotation above that you see in the upper right hand corner of your screen. SmackDown Live review live on the channel right now. Buddy Murphy finally makes his SmackDown Live debut. I have news on Buddy Murphy. He'll be going one-on-one with Daniel Bryan this Tuesday on SmackDown Live. That should be interesting. Link to SmackDown review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Check out NXT review from this past Wednesday. Breezango returns, plus the NXT Breakout Tournament Finals. Link to NXT review will be in the annotation above that you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Check out episode 49 of the Reality Podcast, where we go over news on the Fiend Bray Wyatt. World Wrestling Entertainment reportedly wants to keep Bray Wyatt's character special, as they should. Link to episode 49 of the Reality Podcast will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. And also check out episode 50 of the Reality Podcast that was uploaded back on Saturday. World Wrestling Entertainment considering the USA Network for NXT's new home. I got more news on NXT being moved to USA right here on this episode of the Reality Podcast. Link to episode 50 of the Reality Podcast will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are connecting with me on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring. Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. Like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. Let's begin episode number 51, I should say, of the Reality Podcast right here on YouTube.com. I want to start off the podcast here with episode 51 on this WWE NXT moving to USA situation. Now, I read some of this yesterday on episode 51. If I can find the fucking report, which I had here. I don't even know where is it. I just had it here for some odd reason. Oh, here we go right here. I got it right here. WWE's plan to announce NXT's move to the USA Network. I wonder why. Just that simple, folks. It's called the AEW effect. That's what it's called. If you're not seeing the AEW effect, you're watching the product completely wrong. You cannot sit there and tell me. You cannot sit there and tell me. You cannot sit there and tell me that NXT wants to go to the USA Network. And I also heard, according to Wrestle Votes back on Saturday, that NXT on USA is going to be 2 hours. Dead. Dead. Absolutely dead. WWE has some big plans for NXT, and we know, and we will know soon enough exactly what they're going to do. We previously reported that WWE could have plans on to debut NXT on USA Network even before AEW has a chance to show up on TNT in October. In fact, they might have already filmed their debut episode. I think if I'm here to make a guess here, I think they filmed that episode, their debut episode on USA, during the recent tapings of NXT. WrestleVotes reports that they've been told that World Wrestling Entertainment will plan on making some kind of official announcement today. No, the report says this Monday, but today. You got to see this podcast on Monday. On Monday. This is what WrestleVotes said, and I quote, a lot of rumors going around concerning NXT. I'll add what I've heard. NXT is moving to USA Network on Wednesday nights, not Fox Sports 1. And I've been told World Wrestling Entertainment will make the official announcement this Monday. WrestleVotes tweeted this report back on Saturday. End quote. The Wednesday Night Wars are really heating up, and it's just happening during a crucial time in the business when interest is down for many reasons. Let's just see how World Wrestling Entertainment's latest move to counter program against AEW will play out when everything's said and done. I apologize. I had a fucking itch on my fucking foot. I apologize. You mean to tell me? You really mean to sit there and tell me that NXT on the USA Network is gonna go good for 2 hours? Are you fucking serious, bro? You really think for 1 second that NXT is gonna do good on 2 hours? No. The most I would do for NXT is an hour to an hour and a half. Why 2 hours? Why 2 hours? Can I ask why 2 hours? We all know why NXT going to USA for 2 hours. We all know why it's happening. Because AEW on TNT on October is going 2 hours. I'm telling you folks, the AEW effect is real. The AEW effect, folks, is real. And if you don't see that, and if you don't witness that, you have a fucking problem. You have a fucking problem. How can you not see this? I'm going to follow that with this report. Vince McMahon could have his hands on NXT very soon. I might as well plan the fucking funeral for NXT. Are you fucking serious? You're going to have Vincent Kevin McMahon have his hands on NXT? It'll die faster than the fucking plague on fucking Fortnite on a fucking storm. You guys ever play Fortnite and then you're on that last fucking circle and then you're on the fucking storm and that shit does 10 damage? Believe me, Vince's hands on NXT will do 20 damage. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, dead. Dead. NXT might be moving to the USA Network, but that possibly isn't going to be the biggest change for World Wrestling Entertainment's developmental brand. There could be a lot of exciting events happening on NXT to garner attention soon enough. After all, this is a new pro wrestling war. Vince McMahon loves wars, and this situation definitely has his attention. I bet it does. I bet it does. They've not just speculated that McMahon might allow Triple H to keep running NXT without any interference if they move to Fox Sports 1. If the ratings start to slip, then things might change. However, moving to the USA Network could be a much bigger deal, considering USA Network's size and the importance of the situation. As Brian Alvarez said on Figure 4 Daily, Vince McMahon could have his hands on NXT from day one on the USA Network. Dead. You see everybody there on fucking NXT. Dead. Dead on arrival. Dead. If it makes you have to wonder how Vince McMahon could have time for everything on his plate because the XFL is starting back in 2020 as well. You might as well plan the fucking funeral. I might as well dress in fucking full black. You might as well change the fucking NXT logo to full black with NXT on it. Vince McMahon, I swear to God, if he even touches NXT, I'm done. I'm just done. You think Vince McMahon being involved in NXT is going to improve the product? No, it's not. Do you see how Vince writes Raw and SmackDown every single week? Can you imagine him in NXT? Fucking awful, dude. Absolutely fucking awful. I might just say this now. I might just go out on a fucking limb here. What if Vince McMahon changes the entire landscape of NXT TakeOver? War Games might not be listen, NXT TakeOver might not be the same again if Vince has his hands on NXT. TakeOver might not even be the same anymore. You see how TakeOver is like 4 matches, 5 matches. Vince is going to double it up to 10 matches. And I said this in the podcast yesterday. If it ain't broke, on Saturday. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You think for 1 second Triple H wants to have Vince have his hands on NXT? No! NXT is Triple H's baby. NXT is Triple H's brainchild. Look at the superstar that Triple H has created in NXT. Gargano, Ciampa, Cole, Undisputed Era, Velveteen Dream. The list goes on and on. The list goes on and on. Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, Kushida. Come on. If I see 1 ounce of Vince on fucking NXT, I am done. I am absolutely fucking done. Now, we're going to talk more about NXT on the USA Network. There's a bunch of news here. When World Wrestling Entertainment NXT could debut on the USA Network? WWE is moving NXT off the network. Whether WWE keeps NXT on the network in some form is another question to be answered. At this point, listen, the only positive about NXT moving to USA Network is more eyes on the product. The more eyes, the bigger of the product it will be. That's the only positive about this. That's it. That's the only positive about this. The only positive. But they are certainly making a big change. The latest plan is to move NXT to the USA Network on Wednesday nights. This is not only going to get NXT in a lot more homes than if they were on FS1, but US Network is already a prime destination for pro wrestling fans, especially for Raw and SmackDown Live. We previously reported that WWE could debut NXT on the USA Network even before October 2nd, which would beat AEW to the punch. That's apparently the working idea because PW Insider reports that a source in the company indicated that September 11th could be a big day for NXT. Mind you, NXT already has the spoilers from August 21st to September 11th. It's out there on the internet right now, as we speak of this second, as of this recording. This is what PW Insider said, and I quote, one source pointed out that NXT has a planned taped at Full Sail University on Wednesday, 9/11, and that they could easily launch the show live at that taping, end quote. NXT also has a television taping for September 12th, which could reportedly be a taped show for the next week and for the next set of tapings. Then the plan would be to air a live NXT episode every week from October on. It seems like the working plan might be in air an episode of NXT live and then tape another show. This tactic of alternating live and tape shows could work out, but the obvious goal is to keep it as live as possible in order to really compete with All Elite Wrestling. I'm hearing that NXT on USA is going to go 2 hours. It's going to go 2 hours. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, folks. That's the quote of today's podcast. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. NXT is perfect the way it is. 1 hour. You don't have to feature everybody else on the show every single week. It's going to kill everything that's NXT. It's going to kill everything that the superstars are building towards. It's going to kill storylines, low key. It's going to kill storylines to a point where we're not interested. What makes you think we want to see a Gargano or a Cole or a Ciampa every single week? What makes you think that? What makes you think we want to see a Velveteen Dream every single week? What makes you think that? Keep those guys special. Everybody in NXT is special. Why? Because we don't see them every single week. We know when people like Cole, Gargano, Ciampa, Dream, when they show up at NXT, something is bound to happen. Something's bound to happen. You're going to kill the integrity, that's NXT. You're going to kill the mystique, that's NXT. You are going to kill everything that is special about NXT if you feature all those superstars every single week. And that's the truth. And that's literally the reality of things. Literally it is. Literally it is. Like this is just ridiculous, bro. This is just fucking ridiculous. WWE considering NXT's move to the USA Network a done deal. This was as of Saturday. If you're a fan of NXT's brand, then things could definitely be changing very soon. Because where you would normally tune into the network to see your favorite NXT superstars, USA Network could soon be your new destination soon enough. We previously reported that WWE is considering jumping the gun to AEW's October 2nd debut on TNT by premiering NXT on the USA Network even sooner. This could be a big shot in the Wednesday Night Wars. PW Insider reports that some people within the company are already considering NXT's move to USA Network's a done deal. However, others are denying the report for obvious reasons. After all, Wrestling Entertainment generally likes to reveal those kinds of announcements on their own time. We'll have to wait and see what happens next, but it should also be noted that NXT superstars were already told that they were moving to the USA Network. Oh, really? Oh, really? Like I said, if it ain't broke, folks, don't fix it. That's all I gotta say about that. If it ain't broke at all, Brody, don't even fix it. All right, I'm done talking about NXT. I am done. All right, I have this report right here in my face right here. Why WWE, well, moving on with this whole NXT thing, why Wrestling Entertainment didn't hold Evolution event this year? There were reports going around that there was a rumor about Evolution 2 coming back. That there was an Evolution pay-per-view coming back in the works. And then again, I said it on the opener of this podcast. Why would you book an Evolution pay-per-view when you have Hell in a Cell in the beginning of the month? If you have Hell in a Cell on October, you have about what? Close to 5 to 6 weeks to build towards Survivor Series. Oh yeah, but then again, you got that Saudi show in November, in the beginning of November. Why you want to give us 4 pay-per-views in a matter of 8 weeks? Hell in a Cell, Evolution, then you got the Saudi show in November, and then Survivor Series. You are going to build 4 shows in a matter of what, 8 weeks? 8, 9, like 7, 8, 9 weeks? No. Evolution was a landmark pay-per-view event for World Wrestling Entertainment with an all-female card, but they didn't book another show this year. They've most noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that World Wrestling Entertainment has some interest for Evolution that they did for an event like Stomping Grounds. Evolution did end up selling out the building. Yeah, sure they did. But this might not be enough for the company to give them another all-female pay-per-view. There was even rumors of an all-female SmackDown show. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I was hearing a couple of months ago. This is what they must have said, and I quote, I think that there's a fear that without Ronda Rousey, there may be, but whatever reason, if they do or don't do that pay-per-view, that's a purely economic business decision. Either way they go. This is not a moral issue. If they don't do an all-women's pay-per-view, okay? If you want to do it, then they want to do it. That's all. The show was great last year. This is what they must have said. This is not what I said. Evolution was terrible last year. Just know. Nobody cared about a Nia Jax winning the Battle Royal. Nobody cared about a fucking tag team match that had fucking legends in it with Trish and Lita. Nobody cared about that. Nobody cared about fucking Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey. Nobody gave a fuck about that match. The match of the night, in my honest opinion, and I'm sure this is everybody's opinion as well, is Becky versus Charlotte, last woman standing. That was the best match of the entire pay-per-view last year. Meltzer continues to say, if you don't want to do it, then you don't want to do it. That's all. The show was great last year, but just because it was great doesn't mean you have to do it this year. Obviously, it wasn't so great business-wise because it didn't put it on the schedule this year. But the fact that you don't want to be a champion in women's sports and you make a deal with Saudi Arabia, you don't have the courage or convictions. End quote. There was a report. There was reportedly talk about Evolution 2.0 happening before the end of the year. But with so much going on in the company right now, they might not have time to plan this event in 2019. We'll have to wait and see when they might be able to get to promoting another all-women's event. But star power could certainly be something that keeps this idea from getting off the ground. I wouldn't want to see another Evolution pay-per-view. I wouldn't even care. Low key, I wouldn't even care. And that's how much I know that Evolution was completely terrible last year. Nobody cared. The one match of the night was Becky versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. That was the match of the night last year. That was the match of the night, in my honest opinion. That was the match of the night. What else do I have here? I have news here. Where's this Vince McMahon report that I was just looking at a couple of minutes ago before I even stepped foot in the podcast here? For some reason, there's news on Edge. There's news on Edge, and I'm going to go over this right now. Edge looking into stem cell treatments. Let's see about this. Give me a second here. Edge excited plenty of fans when he showed up at SummerSlam and hit one spear on the Elias. This was a big surprise because many people thought that Edge couldn't get physical anymore. While talking about the event on the ENC Pod of Awesomeness, I said awareness. ENC's Pod of Awesomeness, Edge revealed that he thinks he could have a match tomorrow. He actually went on to say that a doctor told him that his neck could have been fine to wrestle again after 5 years of rest. He's also looking into stem cell treatment to really help his healing process out. This is what the doctor said. I mean, this is what Edge said, and I quote, I did have a doctor tell me that he thinks they'll be able to basically get my neck relatively healthy within 5 years. And then the stem cells, which I'm also looking into. Just from the stuff I've experienced in the last 8 years and the things I've done physically, it's like I could pull one off. I could pull off one. I'm not saying I could pull off a year's worth. I'm sure you could too. End quote. We'll have to wait and see whether Edge will ever wrestle again. In a day where retirement doesn't seem like it's forever, you really never know if something could get worked out in that regard. Edge still has a name that a lot of fans remember, and the company's cashing in on nostalgia in a big way. Obviously, they are. Therefore, it might It might only be a matter of time before Edge is thinking very serious about having one more match, especially if the company's doctors will allow it to happen. Would you guys want to see Edge wrestle one more match? If you do, again too, leave a comment down below. If Edge was to come back from retirement, who would you have his one match against? You only have one match to book. One match to book. If Edge was to come out of retirement for one match, who would you have Edge fight in that one match? Leave a comment down below. Now, I can't think because there's so many superstars I would love to see Edge fight against. But if I was to pick one, it'll probably be against Ricochet. I think Ricochet versus Edge would be a fantastic match. Or Edge versus KO. You have Edge versus KO, Edge versus Buddy Murphy, Edge versus Andrade. I would love to see a match with Edge and Andrade. I really would. I really, really would. I have a few more stories left before I end the podcast here. I have a few more stories left in me. And then I'll see you guys later on for Raw review, which will be later on tonight. Where is this Vince McMahon story that I had here? There was a story on Vince McMahon and Dolph Ziggler. If I can really find it here. I don't think I can find it. It's somewhere around here. I've seen it just earlier. Before I went through everything else. Can I find it? 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 I'm telling you. I think I have it here if I can find it. No, it's not here. I need to fucking find it. I'm already 47 minutes into this podcast, man. I am one exhausted guy, Bren. Oh boy. Can I find this report? There was a report here. Oh my goodness. Can I find this damn report? Well, there's news on Lars Sullivan's return. There's news on Lars Sullivan's return. Something about he'll be back by the summer of 2020. No, that's fine with me there. That's fine. I mean, he did have what? Like a knee injury, I think. I think he had like a knee injury. I think around what, early this year, I think, when he made his like debut and stuff, I think he had like a knee injury. And now he's out of action until 2020. Well, meanwhile, when I want to have backstage update on removing Bray Wyatt's head lanyard. Now I'm hearing that the company is gonna have him keep the lanyard. Bray Wyatt blew fans away at SummerSlam with this insane new entrance that didn't stop some fans from fearing that the company was changing things already. We previously reported that Bray Wyatt's SummerSlam entrance video was edited for YouTube. Wyatt's Titantron video was also deleted shortly after being uploaded. During Wrestling Is Ever Live, Brian Alvarez addressed the speculation that the company might be altering Bray Wyatt's Fiend character by taking away his head lanyard. Based on what Alvarez is hearing, there's good news to report because if anything, it sounds like the company is planning even more marketing for Bray Wyatt's for Bray Wyatt with the lanyard as part of the deal. This is what Brian Alvarez said, and I quote, "All I can tell you is that I've asked several people about this and nobody heard anything about the lanyard not being part of the act. In fact, one person told me, I guess it's going to be part of like his whatever you call it, action figure or whatever they're producing these lanyards. So anyway, I think everyone's reading too much into this, but I mean, we'll know soon enough. If he shows up again with no head lanyard, we'll know, but I wouldn't be writing it off just yet." End quote. This is a very good sign that the company realizes that what kind of character they have in Bray Wyatt, because The Fiend is something that obviously blew fans away at SummerSlam, and there is no reason to change him at this point. The head lanyard might be a shocking addition to Bray Wyatt's persona, but that's probably the point. I love the lanyard. Low-key, I really do. I love the lanyard. I'm not gonna lie to you. The lanyard looks so fucking sick. It looked so fucking sick. It's not even fucking funny. It's not even funny at this point. I just love it. I just fucking love it. How do you guys feel about Bray Wyatt's lanyard? I just want to know. Like, how do you guys feel about Bray Wyatt's lanyard? I think it looks cool. I think, in my honest opinion, I think it looks sick. I think it looks absolutely sick. No, I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find this fucking Vince McMahon thing before I get out of here. I'm trying to find this Vince McMahon report before I get the fuck up out of here. It was something about Vince and Dolph shaking hands and stuff, and that something about Vince rather pay Dolph Ziggler at home than him in the company. I'm trying to find it here, and I can't even find it whatsoever. I think I found it. Yeah, I think I did. No, it's not it. Okay. I don't know. This is completely ridiculous. Come on, Vince, you old kook. Where you are? I kind of seen you here earlier when I was going through my news and notes and shit. Going into this podcast. Dun 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 dun. Can I find it? Dun dun dun. I think it was somewhere around here. No, that's not it. God, mother flapping damn it. Jesus Christ. Oh, right here. Found it. There you go. Alright, so it's way down there. Hold on. So this is between. Oh, okay. So this is all the way down here. Bum bum bum. So this was between. Give me a second. I found the report. I just gotta find it on my iPad. Give me a second, folks. Vince McMahon breaks promise and refuses to release Dolph Ziggler from the WWE contract. Okay, there you go. That'll be the last piece of information before I get out of here, folks. I apologize for the long wait. It's just that my iPad's been acting up. I have to buy a new iPad. I have to really buy a new iPad. I really do. I have to buy a new iPad. Like, I have so much shit to do after later on before Raw Review. I have so much shit to do. I have to go to the gym. I gotta go pick up Jessica and stuff like that, and then gonna watch Raw and relax, live tweet with you guys, and then from there, upload the review. So there you guys go, from right there. All right. Who watches Impact? All right. Can I find it out, please? Can I find it out, please? Jesus Christ. I know. I'm just out of it. Listen, this has been a long week, and I'm completely like, no cap, like at all. I'm overworking myself for no reason. I just need to relax. All right, I am 53 minutes in, and I still haven't read a fucking report. I apologize. Just that my iPad's acting up for some mother effing reason. Nia Jax deleted her Twitter account. Who cares? Like, do people even know that Nia Jax is not even on fucking live television? Who cares about fucking Nia Jax? Who the fuck cares about Nia Jax? Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck about Nia Jax? Low key, who really does? Oh, this iPad just loves to like talk some shit. Big MSG Garden show could be canceled. I think that's AAA. I think that's a AAA show. Alright, I think I'm near. Alright, can I like... Okay, yeah, I got it. Got it. Okay, I got it. Alright, guys, finally. Oh my god, that was really long. Finally, guys, to end the podcast here. Vince McMahon breaks promise and refuses to release Dolph Ziggler from his WWE contract. That's crap. Vince McMahon and Dolph Ziggler had a very good deal, but it was just a handshake agreement. However, it seems McMahon isn't holding up his end of the bargain. Of course, because you can't trust this guy. Ziggler has spoken about his handshake agreement with Vince McMahon in the past and how unique it is. He might have wanted to get something in writing because it doesn't seem like McMahon is game to let him go at this point. You people do realize that Dolph Ziggler in All Elite Wrestling will be a big focal point. Bodyslam.net reports that Dolph Ziggler and McMahon had a deal that he would work through SummerSlam, with Monday being his final day. Then McMahon would grant Ziggler his release from the company. Apparently, that didn't work out like the show-off thought it would. I wonder why, folks. You wonder why. This is what Bodyslam.net reported, and I quote, on Monday prior to Raw, Dolph approached Vince McMahon to thank him. However, it was then that Vince told Dolph that he could not let him go out of his deal, and that he would rather just pay him to stay home. End quote. Dolph Ziggler was absent for SmackDown Live last Tuesday after losing to Goldberg at SummerSlam. It is very interesting that this deal would be in place because WWE is also advertising Ziggler in a triple threat match for the WWE title during the debut episode of SmackDown Live on Fox, which is the go home show before Hell in a Cell. It stands to reason that World Wrestling Entertainment would want to let Dolph Ziggler go, seeing how much competition there is for the talent right now. Dolph Ziggler in All Elite Wrestling will be a big focal point. No cap. No cap. It really would be. It really would be. Just think of this. Dolph versus Cody Rhodes. Dolph versus Kenny Omega. Dolph versus Jericho. Dolph versus Hangman Page. Dolph Ziggler versus Jon Moxley. Can you imagine those matches? Now I wonder why Vince is not letting Dolph go of his contract. I wonder why. Those three letters right there. A-E-W. Effect. That's the cold hard dose of reality. No pun intended, of course. This is all the AEW effect, folks. If you people don't know about this, you are a fucking idiot. If you are not seeing and believing the AEW effect, there is something wrong with you. No cap. There is something wrong with you. No cap. There really is. There really is. I'm not even shitting you. I'm not lying to you. What are you, shitting me? What are you, shitting me? I wonder why Vince is not letting Dolph go. It's because if Dolph goes to AEW, he's going to be a main focal point. He's going to be a big superstar if he goes to All Elite Wrestling. You guys saw how Jon Moxley was back at Double or Nothing. In one night, he looked like a complete superstar than he did in his tenure with the WWE. Dolph, the exact same thing. Dolph is a great promo talker. He's great in the ring, and he's an incredible seller. That's what AEW needs, a guy like Dolph Ziggler. But Vince won't let him go. Vince said, oh, I'd rather just pay you than you just sit home and just get paid. What the fuck does that tell you about Vince McMahon trusting in his talent? Nothing. Vince has no trust in his talent. Vince has no belief in his talent whatsoever. If you people don't see that the AEW effect is real, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. There's no saving your brain at this point. There really isn't. There really fucking isn't. And that, folks, is the reality of things right here on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. If you guys enjoyed episode 51 of the Reality Podcast. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below what you guys thought of the podcast tonight. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. Raw review live on the channel right now. SmackDown live review live on the channel right now. NXT review also live on the channel right now. Episode 49 and episode 50 of the Reality Podcast live on the channel right now. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast. Make sure you are connected with me on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring. Snapchat, Chris was hated. And like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn those bells, guys, for notifications. And I will see you guys later on tonight for Monday Night Raw review as we kick off the 2019 King of the Ring tournament. Who's going to win the King of the Ring tournament? I got Drew McIntyre winning the tournament. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to thank you guys so much for all the support. For my new subscribers, I hope you guys enjoy the channel. Hope you guys like what you see on the channel. This channel is going up and it's never going down. Just know that. This channel is going nowhere but up. This podcast, I already see it throughout 51 episodes. This podcast is going to be in good places. So, hope you guys enjoy the podcast. If you guys did, leave a thumbs up also. I apologize on that. But leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video all over social media. I'll see you guys later on tonight for Monday Night Raw review right here on the channel. Till then, I am Chris. Talk to you guys later.